Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Game Reviews. And tonight, we're going to review Contra Operation Galuga. Contra Operation Galuga is a reimagining of the classic run and gun action game from our childhood, the late 80s, 87 to be exact. It was released on the Switch, PS5, 4, Xbox Series X, Series S, and Microsoft Windows, and the Xbox One. So pretty much everything, unless you're on a Mac. And then they didn't release it for you. It was developed by WayForward and published by Konami, and it's in the Contra series. So it's a reimagining of the original Contra game with one fatal flaw that pretty much killed it. Can you guess what that fatal flaw is? Somehow they forgot to put online co-op into this game. How dare they? In the day and age of Contra, the best part of Contra was playing with your friend, right? Your friend would come over, they would play the second player, and you would run through the run and gun and have fun with your friends. Well, they want you to relive that nostalgia by having your friend come sit on your couch and do it with you again. Which, in this day and age of connected devices and the internet, they said, screw those people. We want you on the couch together. So there's WayForward promoting having your friends over for dinner again. Nick, what'd you think of this Contra game?
I say Galuga. It's all right. It's the online multiplayer is a big, come on. How do you go without making that a mandatory thing? It's better than Rogue Core. I'll give it that. It's way better than Rogue Core. This is a reimagining in a sense of the first Contra game. There's 8 stages. They don't take very long to get through. They do bring some quality of life changes to this where you can, instead of one hit kill, you can have a life bar. You can change it to one hit kill. So if you want to play it like the original where it's you get hit and you're dead, you can play it that way, or you can play it with the life bar if you want to play it like some of the other Contras had later on. You can upgrade your weapons, have upgrades. There's a level 1 and a level 2, which is nice. I do like that feature. The story is not great. Whatever. It's whatever. it works, I guess. The run and gun action's not too bad though. Going through the levels, shooting at things and stuff, it's not too bad. I feel like some of the levels though felt like to me that they went on for a really long time and they should have been a lot shorter. Whereas some of them felt just right in length. And that sounded bad, but some of them felt just right in length, whereas other ones felt too long. Like they went on too long, especially like stage 2. Stage 2 seems like it goes on forever before you get to the end of it. And then there's some stages that, it's like, okay, cool. That one ended. Awesome. That seemed like the right length. And then there's other stages that just seemed like they went on too long. I think the most fun in this one would be playing. We didn't get the chance to play couch co-op, which that would have been fun. Online co-op would have been better. I think this game would get higher marks if it had online co-op. It's not a great Contra game. It's not going to, I don't think it's going to like boost your nostalgia or anything. There's better Contra games that have come out, not recently, but in the past. But this is definitely better than Rogue Corps. They're going in the right direction. Rogue Corps was an abomination. This is better than that. Which is not saying much, but this is better than that. I think one of the funnest things, though, one of the things I like about it is they also add in a perk shop where you can buy like different perks for the different characters. You can, it's got the original Contra guys as well as the robots from their protectors or whatever. I can't remember what they were called. I think that was from the European version of Hardcore, I want to say Contra Hardcore, but don't quote me on that. I can't remember. And they also have other characters that are from other Contra games as well that you can choose to play as, and as well as a new character. I believe the girl in the game is a new character for the series. But You can play as you unlock those as you progress the storyline, and then you get to play as them, and they play a little bit different depending on who you choose, and have different abilities, but all in all, and then like I said, you get the perk shop where you can buy different perks if you want to add certain things like more health bars if you're using the health system, or more levels if you're using the levels, if you use more lives basically for your character and stuff like that. One of the coolest things I like about the perk shop, even though I think the perk shop, it takes way too long to collect enough points to buy everything you want in there. I think some of the things are way too expensive and it takes a long time to buy the stuff you want. But one of the cool things, if you played previous Konami games, it will unlock soundtrack tunes for those other games. Like I have played Castlevania and the Contra Anniversary Collection and stuff like that, and it unlocked a Castlevania soundtrack that you could play during while you're playing the game, and the original Contra soundtrack and some other stuff like that you can play in the background as you're playing. So you can play those during like arcade mode, which is basically the same game, the 8 levels, but without all the cutscenes, which is the better way to go, unless you really want to see the story and everything, because there's a lot of dialogue. They all talk, but most of the time you're just sitting there going, because it's all boring dialogue. So the arcade mode is probably the better way to go. That way you just play it just like normal Contra back in the day. And they also have a challenge mode, which I think the challenge mode is a lot of fun. It's difficult. Some of them can be pretty difficult, but I find it pretty fun to go through the challenge mode. So I thought the challenge mode was a pretty good addition. So there are some good things. It's just, like I said, ultimately it's an okay game for Contra, but they do have some good things on there. Online play, that would have really brought it up some more points for me. But overall, it's an all right game. And it wasn't a full price game, so, you got that going for it. But it could have been a little cheaper. I think it was $40, so I think it could have been cheaper for what they're offering. But, that's just my thought. I will leave you with this, though, before we move on to Shane. I'm not going to tell you what it does, but the Konami code does work. All right, Shane, what do you think of this game?
Oh, I really want to know what the Konami code is. Jesus. Excuse me. Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything Nick said. I really like the game. I played it with my son a little bit. I mean, like 20 minutes. This is not in his repertoire. So, but I enjoyed the game. The story is fine. And the gameplay works really well. I like the fact that you can upgrade the weapons. I like the alternate you can do with the weapons. Every weapon has an alternate to it. And there's 4 characters, Nick. 2 female characters you unlock. One is Lucia. She's been in previous, I think it was Hardcores, and then the other lady. She's making her debut.
Yeah, there's more characters than that, but you had to beat the game.
Oh, okay, because I didn't see that.
But yeah, some of them you have to buy from the perk shop. Just so you know.
No, thank you. That's probably why I didn't notice them, because I ain't buying them. I think this game is really fun. And it would be really, really fun if they would have corrected the one damned issue that this game should never have had. That's the online multiplayer. These guys aren't getting off their asses and coming to each other's houses or my house and vice versa. I'm not. I'm lazy. And these guys live 2 minutes from each other. So that's just a big letdown. It really is. Now, graphically, the game is really pretty. I really like the art style they went with. It ran great. It ran smooth. Nick is definitely right. There's some missions that were like, yay, and then, oh my God, hurry up, let's get this done. So, so the fact that this game is lacking multiplayer or online multiplayer is its biggest weakness. It's its biggest downfall. I don't think I could recommend this game because of that alone. Because I know we're old. We're used to playing with friends at their house and sitting on couches. But that's not what kids do these days. And that's even guys our age. We don't do that anymore because, it's just I don't want to go to Pat's house. Pat don't want to come to mine. Nobody wants to go to Nick's. So it's not understandable. Nick, we were talking about it. What were we talking about the other day? It was a game they made. They didn't have Resident Evil, the one that was on the DS.
It was Revelations.
Revelations, yes.
2. Revelations 2. Yeah.
And it's like, why in bloody hell would you not? It was stupid. In this day and age, unless you create a game specifically to be able to, hand that controller back and forth or, give an elbow to your buddy, I don't see why any game should not have online multiplayer. I just don't. Now, that doesn't make this a bad game. It just makes it a game I would recommend if you have friends. If you don't have a friend, well, this game's right there for you. You don't have to worry about, oh, my buddy can't make it. But this is a good game with a huge missing feature. And just because they put co-op in for the couch, which is kind of fun, but me, I don't have anybody that wants to play that type of game here. And this is my type of game. So, Pat, what about you, buddy boy?
So I liked Contra back in the day. I used to like having my friends come over and we would play, and it's like the more difficult, the better, right? And that is the case for this one. It has more difficulty levels, and as Nick said, you can do multiple different types, like one shot, one kill. If you get hit once, you're dead, or you have a health bar and you have lives and all that kind of stuff, which is cool. But in my opinion, that stuff was all great with friends. Like we're going to push ourselves as a team to get through this with, the up difficulty or the one life or the no health, one hit, one. And to me, I'm just like, okay, I found that it was not worth the $40 price tag. And the reason is my opinion is co-op. It's you can beat the game in 3 hours, if you're slow like I am, you can beat it in 3 hours. People are speed running it in less than 2. But what I found fun about Contra was playing difficultly with your friends, right? Make it hard, play with your friends. And that's what I want with this. But at the same time, it's a 2-hour long game, I'm going to go over to Shane or Nick's house to play for an hour or two and be like, all right, we did it, yay. Then it's like, let's crank up the difficulty and make it harder. That's what Contra was all about. But that means I got to go to their house to do that, which I'm like, whatever. I'd rather just sit at my house and let's try this level. Let's play this level in as high difficulty as we can. Let's do one shot, one kill on this level. Let's see if we can make it work, But they've kind of screwed the pooch. I mean, I should have looked closer because I read co-op and I'm like, cool. And it bites me in the ass so many times when I'm not looking at it, where games will just be like co-op and then it's like couch co-op. And I'm like, you bastards. This game there's no reason this game should not have had online co-op. There's no reason it shouldn't have came out with online. So for me, that's a disastrous. And because of the no online co-op and how short the game is, it's not a $40 game. It's like a $20 game or less, in my opinion. So it's a huge disappointment to me for that. I loved Contra when I was younger, but like I said, me and Contra was playing with friends, and that's unless I want to go hang out at these guys' house, which isn't really conducive, right? We all have lives, and I may have an hour to play, and they may have an hour to play, and we meet up online and play for an hour. But if I got to drive to their house, I just killed like 15 minutes of my commute, or whatever. So it is losing marks for me because of that. It looks great, plays great, and haven't really any issues with it. I like the updated graphics, and it was fun. But you get a playthrough done and you're like, all right, cool. Without my friends, I'm really not interested in playing through it again on a higher difficulty and that over and over and over again. I'm just not interested in that. So for me, this game loses a lot of marks for that. Now, I, for some reason, got into my brain that this was going to be longer than like the original was going to be. I mean, in this day and age, I should expect more than a 2-hour game. And at a $40 price tag, I was expecting more than a 2 or 3 hour long game. But that was just a preconceived notion that I had because I'm like, Contra's typically short game anyway, right? But this one, my brain was going, it's a $40 game. And today's standards, it should get me at least hours and hours and not 3 hours or 2 hours worth of gameplay to get through. And so for me, I'm pretty miffed and on it, and annoyed with it. So it's not getting high marks for me. This would have been a buy for me at $20 if I had known all the details I know now. So, but that's just me. I'm annoyed with it. And to me, that just, when I start getting annoyed with a game, it's like, just nosedive. So it's nosedive for me. It is what it is. It's Contra. It's $40. I think you get it for $35 on sale or $36 on Steam right now or something like that's on sale. And I believe it's digital only, right? There's no physical copies of this one, was there?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. So, you've got to buy it from the digital store. So if you're on PlayStation, you're locked into the PlayStation ecosystem. If you're on PC, then you Steam, CD keys, wherever you want. You probably get it cheaper. On Xbox, you're in the Xbox ecosystem. You could get the CD key. You can get the keys online for that too. And then Switch. So,
Yeah. The original, Pat, was only about an hour and a half too. So these games,
but I could play with my friends, and friends were over all the time when I was a kid.
True. That was, and not to mention, if you played this version of the game on Contra difficulty, I don't remember the difficulty names on this, but normal on this game didn't feel as difficult as the original Contra. It was still hard, don't get me wrong, but when you're dropping quarter after quarter and you can only hit that Konami code. I wish you would tell me what that is, Nick. So many times. So, but yeah, the biggest downfall is just the fact that they do not put online co-op. Other than that, I really enjoyed the game. I did enjoy playing with my son. Showing him, it's still a new game, but kind of a classic game as well. It sucks he didn't get into it. I mean, that boy plays the hardest, dumbest crap on his computer all the time. So kind of thought he'd get into it. But other than that, it's really a letdown. I wouldn't recommend it unless they put online co-op on or give it a hefty price cut. Like Pat was saying, I think $20, I would rectify that.
Right. Yeah, there's no physical copies or anything like that. It's digital, and $40 at digital for a couple hours of playtime is not worth it, in my opinion. If they had online co-op, I would probably change my mind about that, because then it'd be more than a couple hours, right? We would get on together and be like, all right, let's pump this difficulty up, see how far we can make it, and just keep doing that over, because that's the fun part. It's the grinding with your friend. To me, grinding by myself is boring as hell, and I'm not into that. But if I'm with my friends, I'm like, let's try this on a harder difficulty, egging each other on and giving each other crap when one of you dies or something, it's just the way it works. So, but it is what it is. And if you like Contra and you don't care about the length of time and the co-op portion of it not being online, then it's probably a game for you and you should get it. Because to me, it reminds me of the old school 1987 Contra. You guys got anything else before we kick the ball down the road, since we can't play Contra together?
Yeah, one of my favorite things when I did play with my son was little shit kept taking my lives every time he died. So when I finally died, I had no lives left, just like the original version. So that was fun, but he's got a black eye now. I'm joking.
I don't believe you're joking at all.
I would say...
Do you want me to get him?
I would say that, I wouldn't recommend this game either unless you're like... I don't know. Not even if you're a huge Contra fan. I guess if you don't have anything else to play, but there's plenty of games out there right now. If you're looking for Contra, though, and you're really wanting to play something, just go out and buy the Contra Anniversary Collection. That's going to be your best bet for, there's 6 Contra games on there, or 4 or 5 or something like that. I can't remember. I have it, but it's been so long since I've played it. But it's got all the classic Contra games on there, so you can just get on there. Not all of them, but a lot of them, and just play till your heart's content, right? So that's the better way to go, right? For that. But yeah, this game is a letdown, because one of the games that we absolutely loved that they made a new one of was Streets of Rage 4, and me and Pat played that one from beginning to end, and that one has online co-op, and we played the crap out of it. And so, they should have done that with Contra, right? Because Streets of Rage 4 was fantastic. So they should have done the same thing with Contra here. Instead of retelling the first game, I would like to have seen a new game, maybe more expansive, longer, with cooperative basis, kind of like what they did with Streets of Rage in that sense. They don't have to have the same graphical palette or anything like that, but kind of what they did with that game. They made this whole new game, and it was, Streets of Rage 4 was great. So they should have done the same thing with this, but they didn't. So,
all right. Well, let us know what you think down in the comments. Are those deal breakers for you? $40 game for 2-3 hours worth of gameplay, or can you stretch it out? Do you like playing by yourself and upping the difficulty and doing that kind of stuff? Or are they, or are they deal breakers and you want to play with your buddies and online co-op or whatever, What are your thoughts about the new Contra game? Have you played it? Was it worth it to you? Let us know down in the comments. Are we a bunch of old fogies who don't know what we're talking about? Hey, won't be the first time we've heard that. So let us know what you think down in the comments, and hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope to catch you in the next one.
See ya.